Welcome back to Deep Roots Family. I'm Deanna, and today we're going to give you a garden tour where we live on 26 acres in North Idaho. Come along. So if you've been watching, we moved our trailer out onto the hill, and it is much closer to the gardens, which is nice. I can come out and water much easier. Brendan put in a gate for my garden. It's a reused gate from our milk stanchion that we used to have for the goats. Now that we have a goat barn, the milk stands in there, and I'm using the gate. Let's look around and see. I need to water today. I haven't watered yet. Oh, look. I'll turn on the water here in a minute, but I do hand water right now. Oh, look, you guys. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I'm going to turn this around. Look at the peas, you guys. This is a spring crop, but because it's been so cold here, I think we're finally getting some. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. If you recall, I may have mentioned in my last garden video that the cows had eaten all the peas, but that apparently made them grow. Apparently the way to get more peas in your garden is to let the cows eat them all once they sprout, and then come back and they just sprout right up. Oh my goodness. Let's see. These are purple magnolia or something like that. Oh, so good. Here, I think this one's ready. Oh, this is so exciting. I should... Uh-oh, I dropped it. You don't want to lose good produce like that. Where'd it go? Yum. Okay, I will confess, we did have some strawberries come on maybe 2 weeks ago, and I picked the first ripe strawberry. I didn't have my camera in the garden, so I ate it anyway. Brendan had one, and then they were all gone the next day, and so I'm pretty sure the birds took them all. Back when we lived in Colorado, I did this trick where I painted some rocks red and put them in my strawberry bed early in the spring, and the birds would peck at them and the squirrels would try to take them. I found some in the yard. Sometimes I'd put them back, and then when the strawberries came on, they didn't touch them because they'd learned it wasn't anything good. So I think I'm gonna have to do that in here next year, or maybe we might get a second. These might be everbearing, so I actually don't know. Got them from a friend, so I'll have to ask her if she knows. So next to the peas, we have some ranunculus that are pretty much petered out. I have all these radishes, which we've learned we don't like radishes. So they were really tiny and not really growing, and then they all bolted with the heat. So I picked a few and ate them, but we just don't like radishes. My hosta got eaten by a cow, and so it's kind of drying up on the outer edge. There's my clematis. It's not in bloom right now. It's pretty dry and hot for it. Here's all my strawberries. Like I said, I'll have to see if we get another wave this year, or if we'll have to wait till next year. This over here is my blueberry plant. This is a pink lemonade blueberry, and it is alive. Thank goodness. I didn't think it was. I have some dahlias that have petered out, a foxglove, lemon balm. Those are my cucumbers. Yep. Cucumbers there, cucumbers there. It might be too dark to be doing this. I wanted to wait till the sun went down because it's really pretty back behind me, but I'm not having a lot of light. Cucumbers basically didn't survive. Those were, some of them are starts that I put in the ground like the 1st of June, last of May, I don't remember, and that's as big as they got. And some of them are seeds I planted at the same time, and they are also not that big. It's really just disappointing that nothing is growing in this soil. I don't know if it's the soil. I don't know if we have bad soil. I've mentioned this before, but everything's really tiny, or just stunted, not really dead, but just kind of not growing. But I'll show you a few more things. Daffodils that have died off. There's some beautiful oregano. I've mentioned this before, but it's growing quite big. I planted some basil, some parsley. Those are cosmos that are coming up. They haven't flowered yet. I have some dill, tiny little dill sprig that went to seed. This is Micah growing watermelons. We had a watermelon last week and he put them in pots and they're all sprouted. He's building a garden that he will put that in. So finally have some lettuce growing up. Like I said, this was really, really tiny until like this last week, and then all of a sudden it came up. So I'm going to use that tomorrow in some dinner. And we have comfrey, and then we have all of our garlic still growing. I think it's about ready to harvest. We harvested one just to see what it would look like, and it was fine. It was just really tiny. Look at all this overgrown mess because I'm doing this cardboard method. These are some cardboards I haven't taken all the plastic off of yet. We have our lilac bush, which has not bloomed since we got it. I don't know if I'm supposed to trim it anymore or not. But over here, we have some raspberries. Let's see. Look at all this. It's like overgrown mess. We have our asparagus, a bunch of green beans and zucchini. And then our raspberries are growing. All those things are doing pretty well. Again, our green beans and cabbages got eaten by the cow who got in here. Some of it is growing still. Like, the cabbages are still alive. I left them in the ground not knowing if they would come back and still head up in the middle. They're not, but they're all kind of still alive in here. Some of the green bean plants like have grown a second layer of leaves, but no flowers or anything. Also, where's the light? The light has left me. There we go. The light has left me. So the zucchini plants have a couple of flowers, but they look really like kind of shrivelly. So I don't know if they just aren't going to bloom or I just don't know. Oh, the one thing I did want to show you that has bloomed. It might be over its bloom now. Shoot, I should have done this tour a couple days ago. It's actually the end of July. But we have had cold weather. Like yesterday it was 50 degrees and raining, so it was hard for me to do anything. Look at those beautiful columbines. Columbine is the state flower of Colorado, so this is my tribute to them. Also, this is my redbud tree. It's alive and growing so far. Redbud tree we had in our house in Colorado came from my grandmother many, many years ago. And so it's special to me. So I have one of those planted out here too. Okay, so we're going to leave my garden and we're going to do a little tour of Megan's garden. It's right across from mine, across what's going to be our driveway, basically. And she has one thing growing prolifically in her garden, and that is potatoes. Idaho is living up to its reputation for potatoes because these things are going gangbusters. What else? There's onions. She has onions growing. The chickens got in and scratched a bunch of them up, but they're surviving and coming back, so that's good. I want to say there's peas there and cucumbers maybe over there. I can't remember what the plant in the middle is. She's got carrots way over there if you can see them. And I don't know if those are, yeah, those are beans. She's not got any beans on them yet, so that's disturbing. Now, in this area over here, I set up like a chicken run. Right now they're out, mostly because they fly over the fence, but we have a compost pile that we're getting them to pick through and scratch up this area. We're trying to get them to prep this area for another garden next year, a bigger one, market garden style. That way next year we can put potatoes, like many rows of them, and onions, because those have done well here. And I also want to plant garlic this fall in more row style. So I'm hoping to have that one done. Actually might have you guys come along on another video where I spread some of that manure out, and we need to build a more permanent fence. But now I want to show you the kids' garden. This is your garden? Mm-hmm. Did you do all this by yourself?
Yeah, with a little help from Abba.
Yeah. But you cut a lot of that yourself, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you're making some raised beds. And what are you going to plant in your raised beds?
Watermelons, pumpkins, and peas.
Cool. We know it's pretty late in the season for some of that. It may not come all the way to fruiting, but might as well give it a try, right? Then it'll be all ready for next year. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite part about gardening?
I think I like eating the things that I grow.
Yeah, me too. I love that. Is this hard work?
Mm-hmm.
But you think it's going to be worth it when you get something out of it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
If I get something out of it.
Yeah, well then next year it'll be all ready in the spring and you can plant earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So Micah's garden is right outside of Emma's garden. And we're going to go in here and see what Emma's got growing today. Emma, what you got in your garden?
Weeds.
Lots of weeds. Always weeds, huh?
Yeah.
We've got some peas here, I see.
My peas look like flowers.
Hey, yay!
These are my beans.
Okay.
Green beans. Carrots are not really doing anything.
Yeah. There's some itsy bitsy ones in there.
Lots of mint.
Lots of mint. Oh, and look at that chamomile. Beautiful chamomile. Cool. And you have, what are these?
Cabbage.
Cabbages. And look, your Johnny Jump Ups. You gonna take those and make a little bit of tea?
Yeah.
Might have enough for a mug. You better get them before they wilt.
Well, there's more coming up.
Cool. Oh my goodness. And you have some bok choy. Is that what this is?
And some lettuce.
And some lettuce,
All
right?
mixed together because I sort of forgot about the lettuce.
Yeah. So you mixed it in. And what are these? Zucchini?
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins.
Pie
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Pie pumpkins. I'm very excited to see if those grow.
There might be a
Great.
Brussels sprout here.
And then a bed that's not quite done.
That'll be done next.
Yep, we'll work on it for next year. I'm so proud of the kids for taking the initiative and building their own gardens. Emma has done most of this work by herself. Brennan's helped some, of course, do some cutting and some hauling, but man, she's lifted wheelbarrows of dirt up here, sledfuls of dirt. She's worked really hard on building these beds and getting good soil in them and watering it and weeding it. And so I'm just really excited to see what they can grow, especially coming in the future as they're more established. Emma just reminded me she has some sunflowers, so let's see if we can find them. Do you spot the sunflowers in this bed? Right there. Yep, that's very exciting. Well, our gardens are slow coming, that's for sure. Like I said, we built some of them last year, amended the soil as much as we could. We did bring in soil from, it was supposed to be organic compost that I got at a nursery up in Spokane Valley, and I don't know if it was contaminated or we fertilized it, you know, extra. We have some fish fertilizer that we use. I just don't know what's wrong. Like, I'm going to take you in the greenhouse for the final end of the tour, but basically I think we had some contaminated soil of some sort, because even with fertilizing, it's not really growing. Everything's alive, but it's all stunted. So I hear a lot of people have had that trouble. If any of you watch Roots and Refuge, she had some contaminated soil, and it kind of confirmed to me that's probably what happened to us. But we'll go in here and I'll show you. I took out some lettuce and kind of just turned it into the soil there. It was lettuce, but it never got big. Here's a couple of tomato plants, and I don't know if you watched my June garden tour, but those are about the same size as they were. A bunch of the extra stuff, lettuces and kales, I just turned into the soil. I left my rosemary, which hasn't gotten any bigger. Tomatoes. This was my one tomato plant I thought would really get big and survive. And it's like, I don't know what's wrong with it. It's like got weird curly leaves with like yellow on them. Maybe cabbages Megan planted that I just left. Some cucumbers we planted from seed back in 1st of June. This bed was all tomatoes down here, and if you look, they're all still there. exact same size as when I planted them. Yep, there's a few. We had broccolis and cauliflowers in here. And actually, so these two were still in planting trays after I planted all the rest of these in here. Like I planted all of this. It's all broccoli and cauliflower. And those two were in the trays that I just left off to the side, but being in here, they just accidentally got watered. And they grew much better and bigger until I put them in here, and then they stopped. And so that's as big as they've gotten. The rest of the tomatoes, I just randomly stuck tomatoes everywhere, thinking some of them got to grow, right? Have one lone pea coming through. But like these are herbs that I planted. This is the cilantro. Look how tiny it is. Even going to seed and everything, it like didn't really grow. Look at that. That's the dill that is in here. And then I have a couple of pepper plants, but really, the peppers are just sad too. Nothing's growing. So there you have it, a North Idaho July garden tour. Like I said, maybe it is just too cold here because honestly, our nights are still like in the 40s. I keep thinking it's a soil issue. Maybe it's just too cold here. I don't know. Our geothermal greenhouse, I don't know if I really discussed that too much on here as far as like how it didn't work and how the tube's filled with water because of our high water table. And the fact of the matter is you can't do geothermal and use just a plastic covering. You got to really shore it up, like, you know, more solid walls and windows and things, because the heat transfer just to the outside is, it's like being outside. So you can't really hold the heat in that way. But it was an experiment, and we may still end up putting, trying to blow out the tubes and putting a more solid greenhouse in the future. We'll just see what happens there. But we do know we probably need better greenhouses if we're gonna garden here. But we'll keep trying, keep experimenting, keep showing you guys how it's going as we go through the process. We'll see you next time.